Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Property Venture Podcast. I'm Giancarlo Carangelo, joined with Anthony Loggia, and we have Shawn Armorer back with us today. So, Anthony, say hi to everybody.
Hey, and Shawn, it's such a pleasure to have you back.
Yeah.
Honestly, what a great conversation, and we're just so excited to continue here.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it, guys. I'm super stoked for this one, and from what I understand, we're going to go in another direction, so I'm really excited for this one.
Yeah, this is the first one that we're doing with conversations amongst the experts.
Yes.
So let's dive into it.
Yes, let's.
Yeah, I mean, and especially because you're a coach, we aspire to be coaches and to be mentors. It's something we do, but we want to really take it to the next level. And having you here, especially those first two podcasts, it really opened our eyes.
Yeah, and I really appreciate that. And from, we were talking off camera, you're a father, right?
Yes.
So you're already a coach. So you don't have to aspire to anything. You're already doing it, right? So that same level of care and the same level of love and the same level of empathy and the same level of emotional intelligence is the same thing that you should bring to the work every day. People are people, right? So if 100% of your employees are people, 100% of your customers are people, and 100% of your investors are people, if you don't understand people, you don't understand business.
Yeah. But I think you also need to understand yourself to understand this.
Huge.
Right? And a lot of people have conflict with themselves.
Yes.
But if you understand yourself and you know who you are, you could walk confidently with that every day.
Correct. And let's talk about confidence real quick. So to me, and maybe you could share your thoughts too, but to me, how do you build someone's confidence? Well, confidence is built from the promises that you keep, that you make to yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? Disappointments like, I should have done this and I should have done that. Well, the whole time you made a choice, man. You watched that Netflix instead of doing the work, right? Yeah. So, yeah, confidence is a big thing for sure.
And I think a lot of it is also, like you mentioned in the last podcast, be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you're constantly beating yourself up in your head,
Correct.
How can you possibly be confident ever?
Correct. And you have to have a high, you have to be strategically patient, but with a high sense of urgency. Right. And that's where the trick is, right? That's why we exist.
I mean, I have a funny story about confidence. I was at a work party one night, a couple summers ago. It was an outdoor work party, and I was wearing a pink button. Yeah. A pink button-up shirt. That's confidence. That's confidence. And I could confidently wear pink and not think anything of it.
You sure it's not salmon? It's pink?
Oh, it's pink.
No, he tried to pass it off as salmon.
Yeah, and I was like, no, that's pink.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I walk into this party, and with a colleague, and she, we're sitting there, we're talking, and she's like, you must be really confident in your masculinity to wear that shirt. And my response without thinking twice was, I never doubted my masculinity.
Right?
I'm confident in myself to wear pink, where most men would not be confident wearing pink, wouldn't be caught dead wearing pink.
Well, to be honest, I mean, I'm not sure I would wear pink. But if I had to, I would. But
I'm going to wear pink on the next podcast episode.
It looks better on you.
It's all pink. The next one.
Yeah, it's all pink on the next podcast episode, guys. So, but confidence.
Yeah,
right?
man.
And where does it come from? Doing things that you're afraid of doing.
Correct.
Right? Yeah. Achieving things that you're afraid of achieving and pursuing.
Holding yourself accountable.
Yeah. And understanding that failure is a part of the process.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, if you really want to, you mentioned the term leveling up.
Yeah.
That's so important to understand. Kind of like I was reading a book. I can't remember the author, but fall down 7, get up 8. Yeah. You have to understand that failure is part of the process. It's part of the process, dude.
Yeah.
Like nothing great ever came out from someone that didn't fail.
No.
I mean, look at the Walmart guy, whatever his name is. I mean, he created that at 50 something. If you look at all of these amazing greats, the entire journey was just mapped out by failure.
Shawn, I'm a finance guy, so like I spent a number of years actually working in the banks, and it's the ebbs and flows of the market. Oftentimes we say, stocks, they always go up. Well, they don't always go up.
Correct.
Right? They come down, but overall, they do go up.
Yeah.
But let's talk about how do we like maybe you could tell us, how do you maintain confidence? Because we all have a little bit of imposter syndrome sometimes.
Doubt. I have it all the time.
Doubt, right? How many times have I thought to myself, I'm feeling down today, and should I just give up all my dreams and my goals and just, do what?
Move to Dominican?
Yeah, move to Dominican, become a barman on the beach, and that's it. But should I just give up? But there's something inside of me, as defeated as I feel that day, something inside of me, you know, strives to move and carry on and push forth, right?
Yeah.
Because, you know, like they say, and someone who went through what you went through, which you described to us in your last episode, you know, if you're going through hell, keep going, right?
Yeah. Keep making plays. And the idea is, like I said, for one of the, I guess you could call it a mindset, thought process is, you know, life is hard. Change is hard.
Choose hard.
Choose your hard, man.
Yeah.
I mean, tomorrow your problems are going to be there.
Yeah.
I can assure you of that.
Mm-hmm.
We will die one day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I can assure you of that. None of us is making it out of this alive. Even Louise behind the camera. Shout out to Louise.
Yeah.
But no one is making it out alive.
Yeah.
So let's calm down. Let's just reset. And let's get really, really, really clear on what it is that we have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Have a plan. Don't get anchored to your plan, but you have to have some kind of a plan, some kind of a framework.
Yeah.
Whether you're doing finances or coaching or whatever the case may be, but have a plan. Choose your lane.
Mm-hmm.
Try not to be, you know, a master of everything. Choose your lane and stick to your lane.
And because, you know, I'm someone who I strive to always be better, you know, and I believe that I should go to bed every day better and smarter than when I woke up. And, you know, there's some days where I just don't feel like it, but I do it anyways, because those are the days that count. And there's so many people in this world that don't have the courage to go after the things they want because they lack that confidence, because they never took that first step or jumped.
Sure.
Right. So like, I don't know how, maybe you could tell us a little bit about your experience, Anthony, things that you know, you felt unconfident about that you overcame and everything.
Look, I
Being
think
in front of a camera is one of them.
Yeah.
Guys, being in front of a camera.
exactly. This whole experience is all too much for me. Being on social media.
Okay, but this is good. Can we use this as a litmus test?
Yeah, let's do
okay, great. So let's do it. So I'll coach you right now.
Okay.
Live. Okay, and this is not rehearsed. Okay, so it's all about words, right? So you said uncomfortable, correct?
Yes, I did.
Okay. What is uncomfortable about it? Like, just kind of pick a couple of words. Like, what's uncomfortable about it?
It's the idea of being in front of a camera,
Okay.
expressing myself, and kind of showing people that I don't even know.
Okay. So how many shows are you guys in right now?
Oh, 25 episodes in right now.
Approximately.
25, 24.
So you're doing it.
Oh, for sure.
So
For sure. Oh, no, but look, Sean, I'm going to be very clear with you.
Yeah.
Just because I'm uncomfortable, just because I don't want to be,
Yeah.
I'm still doing it.
get comfortable with being
yeah.
uncomfortable.
But
No,
just
no,
because
but
he's
this
doing it doesn't mean he wants to be
No,
doing it.
100%. But it's not every day you want to go to the gym, but you still do it.
You do it anyway.
You know,
it's the
and
days that
I have
you
a
don't
saying, okay?
Yeah.
Because I'm Italian, okay? And we love lemons, we love limoncello.
Yeah. I have actually a bottle.
That's it. You see, there we go.
No word of a lie.
So I like to use lemons as like my life example. It's just my thing. I love lemons.
Yeah.
You know, there are some people in life, you know, they'll look at a lemon like I look at it like as if like it's your whole world. It's your whole life.
Yeah.
And some people will go through life and maybe they'll scrape the lemon. Other people, maybe they'll cut into it. Maybe they'll take a bite. I'm going to eat the whole thing. So even though I don't like doing this, in a sense, like doing it, and I'm doing it though.
Correct, because this is just one of the elements of the behavior that's required to level up.
Exactly.
Well, then you do it anyway.
Yeah.
Exactly, and that's what makes you part of the 1%.
Yeah, and a guy that I follow, JT Fox, you know, he says, new level, new devil.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
absolutely.
And I keep saying this, and every time you level up, there's something new, a new challenge
Yeah, and you know
that
what?
you have to face.
Sorry, we're talking about levels. This is super important. So I heard this on a podcast once. I think it was Kevin Hart. This is so well timed. Like, this is not mine, but it's so important. So just so we're really clear, or the message that I have is really clear. So there's a game-like quality to life, similar to a video game. You know, think of Mario Brothers or any kind of video game, or Super Metroid. All right.
First thing we notice when we walk
Exactly, right? Excite Bike or whatever you want to call it, right?
Yeah.
So in life, there's levels.
Yeah.
And every level requires different skills, right? Mario Brothers, level 1, you didn't get the star where you could run through everything. Maybe it was just a mushroom that you took, right? So every level requires a different set of skills.
Yes.
And the cool thing is that you can stop at level 3 if you want. You don't have to go to 4 or 5. We need people at level 3. We need people at level 2. We need people at level 1. But it's for you to decide, are you happy with where the level is? And if you're not, well, what behavior do I need to learn? Do I need to change? Do I need to adopt? Do I need to accumulate in order to get to the next level.
And we were talking about this even like off air, how you go to like these classes and you say you have to do it.
Masterclass.
Use master
I literally just spent $2,000 last week to do a master class where it was after my 9, 10, 11-hour day, because as entrepreneurs, there's no punch clock, right? So after 11 hours, I literally had 20 minutes to scarf something down. And then for the next 5 days, or all 5 days last week, it was 2.5, 3-hour master class on communication and how to do conferences and how to speak better. So I've already done 5, 6 conferences in the last, 2 years, and I've done over 30 podcasts. Yeah. But every time I look at them, I'm critiquing myself. How do I get better? How do I prevent myself from rambling? How do I control my speed? How do I control my thought process? You got to learn these things. Yeah, and that's what I mean by being kind with yourself. You can't expect to know everything.
And I've spoken at conferences and seminars too, and I actually enjoy it. It's something I tell Anthony I need to do more of. I do enjoy it.
Yeah, for sure.
And I've learned a lot from watching speakers. And I remember first time we met, you had told me your first conference where you had to speak was a disaster.
Bro, I
bombed.
I didn't even bomb. I blanked.
Yeah. Oh. He's like, it was a disaster. But the second one got better.
Yeah, the second one got better.
And the third one, and the fourth one.
Yeah.
And I love doing conferences. And and I follow a lot of speakers and stuff, and especially.
Thanks for bringing me back there, by the way. Now I'm self-conscious.
Yeah. You're doing fine. You're doing great. Amazing. But, I follow a lot of speakers and everything. And I've seen, and I've been to a lot of conferences. And there's one thing I noticed that makes a great speaker is being able to engage with the audience.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Having them engaged. Yeah. And interacting.
Yeah, you do that through stories. That's what
stories. Storytelling. And maybe asking a question in the first 2 minutes of your speech.
Correct.
With a raise of hands, can I see how many people are aspiring to be real estate investors?
Correct.
And then get them to laugh by telling them a joke.
Uh-huh.
And then one of my favorite jokes to tell them is, real estate is such a stressful business. Look, I lost all my hair because of it. You know what I mean? And they laugh, right? And that's my default. When I see the crowds dying down, I make a hair joke about myself. Yeah. And I get them to interact. And I think that's
because at the end of the day, you want to build rapport with your audience, and you want them to know, like, hey, listen, I screwed up, man. I made a lot of mistakes. Like, I am you.
Yeah.
Right? It's just I chose to, not turn on the TV. I went right and went back to the computer to go back to work.
Funny you say that, because that's like our headline to our program. We've made the mistakes so you don't have to.
There you go. And this is so powerful to anybody that wants to be a coach. This is precisely why I don't negotiate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I never negotiate. Because when I walk into these burning buildings, like I was telling you guys, no, I'm not a firefighter, but as a consultant, when I walk in to fix their problems, and I will. It took me 22 years to solve your problem in 1 month.
Yeah.
This is the price.
And this is what I'm going to say is, I read a quote about this is, if it took me 10 or 22 years to learn a skill, my price is based off of the 22 years it took me to learn, not the 2 hours or 2 months that it takes me to execute the job.
Correct.
You know what, too? There's even another perspective. My uncle, okay, awesome dude, and he's a contract. He does, anyways.
He grows lemons.
But whenever he's asked, hey, can you do something about the price? You know what he tells him? He's like, if I could have done something about the price, I would have done it in the beginning, because that's my best price.
Yeah.
I'm not here to upsell you and nothing like that.
Yeah. And that's so interesting, because a lot of people, and this is learned behavior, trust me, like I read a lot of books like you, well, probably not as many as you, but it's learned behavior, because I'm obsessed with self-development. And one of the things that I learned, because also like it's important to weaponize yourself. Like when you're going into these like new mindsets, like be very careful that you don't compare your chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 10. It's super important, because right now on Instagram, we're being inundated by 7-minute abs and make $1 million with 4 videos. Let me show you. It's okay, but they've been doing it for 30 years. Yeah. You've never done it. You just hop in and now all of a sudden, you understand? So you got to be very, very careful. So one of the things that I learned on how to go about telling somebody, like, it's very hard. It's confrontational to tell somebody, I don't negotiate. So one of the soft ways, because we're here to give people some advice. So one of the soft ways that I learned, and I do it to this day, is, so if ever you're not confident about saying, hey, listen, sorry, or justifying why you won't negotiate. One of the softer ways of saying it is when someone asks, can you do better? And I'll say, absolutely. Which item in the proposal would you like me to take off?
Yes.
See, didn't we have a conversation like this a few weeks ago where I said, when they want less, when they want to pay less, no
What do I
problem.
take off?
What do I take? What here is it that you don't want?
Yeah, what do you not value?
Yeah. What do you not want?
Well, I want this, I want this, I want this. Okay, well, we're trying to solve for the thing, right?
Yeah.
There's a vector and there's goalpost, and the goalposts are going to move it. You're paying me because I can semi-predict where those goalposts are going to go depending on the ecosystem.
Yeah. And I want to talk about something you said about comparison, because it's true. We all do it. Okay. We all do it. I've done it, like this person's been in business half the time as me and it produced double the results. It's terrible. And there's a great book that I read that everybody heard, but The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Bean, right? Everybody knows the book. It's the Orange Book by Mark Manson. We can't swear on the podcast, so I can't say it. But in the book, there's a chapter where he talks about Dave Mustaine from Megadeth.
Oh, yeah.
Who is the lead singer and lead guitarist of Megadeth. And he started off his career with Metallica. And he got fired from Metallica right before they went big. And the first 20, 25 years of Megadeth's career, Dave was too busy comparing himself to what could have been in Metallica. And if Metallica was selling 10 million records and Megadeth was selling 2 million, he was never happy because he wasn't as good as Metallica, and he got kicked out, and that resentment and that comparison, that he was too busy to actually realize and enjoy his own success.
Yeah.
And that's huge. And then I guess he had a moment of clarity, right, where he got over it, and now he was able to enjoy the success. But because you're so busy comparing yourself with someone else, you're never going to enjoy and value the things that you're achieving, that you're producing. It's never going to feel as good if you're always looking.
Yeah. Well, has that happened to you, where in some point in your career or even in your personal life that you've compared yourself to somebody else? I think it's pretty much everybody that kind of that. Do you have a story for that?
I think it's universal.
Yeah.
I think even family-wise, like I'm from an Italian background, and we often say, like, we look at other people and say, oh, they already have kids, they're already married, they already have the big house, they have all the properties, and you look at yourself, you say, oh my God.
I'm 40, I'm still in the basement.
That's it. And you're like, well, what can I do?
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah, I've been there for sure.
We all have. We all have, right?
Yeah.
It's comparison's a thief of joy.
Yeah. Oh, say that again.
Comparison is the thief of joy.
Ooh.
Okay. And it's true. And it's true.
Absolutely.
Because, I'll give you a great example.
Please.
Early on in my career, I had a day where very early on in my career, I started my career as a real estate broker before becoming an investor, property manager, and mentor. And early on, I had a really interesting day, probably in the first 7-8 months, where I had a notary date on the same day, but then I lost a sale as well. A sale died for whatever reason. And I was so busy dwelling on the sale that I lost, that could have been, that I forgot that I had a notary date and I got paid today.
Yeah.
And it was, as an entrepreneur, we paid upon commission, whatever. And I was so busy dwelling on the wrong that I didn't enjoy the good.
Yeah.
Right. And now, ask Anthony, we still lose. There's still losses in business.
Yes.
You're never really not going to lose.
Yeah.
Because some sort of loss is going to occur.
Yeah.
I don't even think about it. I don't think about it. I just like, okay, next.
Yeah.
Because the time you spend dwelling on those losses is time you're taking away from your success.
Correct. You don't want to contaminate your mindset either, right? Like, look, it's a loss. It's a loss. Okay, you're not done.
What did I learn from it?
Yeah, what did I learn from it? And I know that's a little bit cliche, learn from your mistakes, but where else are you going to learn?
Exactly.
Like, okay, books are a good reference. They're a good resource. Instagram is a good reference, is a good resource. But the real lessons
come from failure.
Because you know what's interesting about life, dude? And I was just saying this on another show that I was at, is that I think where the comparison stems from, and it's just my opinion, but life gives us the test first and the lesson after.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're at school, we do the lesson, then we get a test.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I was just like, we're almost set up for failure.
Yes, we are.
Because by the time you leave school,
Yeah.
they've taught us the opposite way of how to be. which turns us into machines, which turns us into 9 to 5, which makes us, reliant on the system, which makes us reliant on this. Then we watch TV, and then it's like this crazy circle.
And if we even take it a step further, failure is a good thing. Yeah. Because that means we're
necessary.
That means we're doing something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, if you've never experienced failure,
yeah,
I mean, dude, you're not.
No. For
any goals.
Yeah, I don't know anybody that's never experienced failure. I mean, we all fail in one way or another every single day. If you're not failing every single day, you're not trying hard enough.
That's it.
You just live in this bubble world. Yeah, yeah.
Who was like Denzel Washington gave a speech at some graduation ceremony where he talks about the light bulb thing, right? I won't say the person's name because I can't remember for the life of me, but he failed 900 Edison. Yes.
Yeah.
He failed 999 times, but the 1000th time he invented the light bulb.
Man,
And what did he say when he was asked about all his failures? No. I just found 1,000 ways not to make a light bulb.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, exactly. I heard that one before. That was a good one. And you know what? That's the story of my own career. Like, I have failed my way to success. And I think in order to control your mindset, we were talking about confidence, I think it's equally important to define what success looks like and to understand that success is a moving target. The vector is always moving. So success to me right now, do I have a Lamborghini outside? No. Do I have a Ferrari outside? Absolutely not. For me, success at this exact moment is being in charge of my time. Yeah. I don't have to answer to anybody. I do have clients, obviously, but no one's going to tell me what time to wake up tomorrow. This is self-imposed, et cetera, et cetera. So success to me right now, which is, I'm still getting used to it, which is kind of amazing. Because like sometimes, some days, like if I'm not working, if I'm not doing something, I'm like, okay, I'm not being efficient. And in my mind, I'm like, dude, you own your time. Yeah, relax. So that's number one. So for success was owning my time, and number two for me personally, this was so cool, being home when my son comes back from school.
Yeah,
it's just the coolest feeling.
Yeah.
Or if there's a problem or a parent-teacher interview or something like that, I don't have to go to my boss and say, excuse me, can I have the afternoon off because I have to. It's almost like you're asking, you're a mature adult asking another adult permission
to be there for your family.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's a terrible feeling. I get. But there's a flip side to this too, right? Like I find in my personal experience, because I'm an entrepreneur and every day is different, right? It's kind of hard to like determine the fine line between business and personal, where I often find myself like on my personal time
blurring the lines.
Blurring the lines. So like I'll go home, I'll eat dinner, and then after dinner, I'll go on the computer and I'll draft up a couple things. I'll write up, anything, a script. I'll write up a business plan for this next project. And next thing you know, it's like 9:30 at night. And I've been, I had my dinner, but my dinner only really lasted 10 minutes.
Yeah. Well, you know what? And that's so interesting that you say that. Like all the greats, if you could, so I don't study the greats, but I really look up to them and look for commonalities because I don't want to be them, but clearly they did something right? Systems are. So one of the things that keeps coming up, the partner that you choose, is the difference between this thing working or not, right?
Oh, yeah.
So as long as you have a solid partner, I'm not saying that would work every time, but just a compromise. Like, hey, listen, instead of doing it for 3 hours, can you do it for 1 or have date night? Like, there's all kinds of things that you can do, right? Is that your experience?
You need to set aside time, not only for yourself, not only for your family, but also for your spouse or your loved one.
Absolutely.
Right? Because in the end, this is even my barber who told me this is great advice. So basically when my wife was pregnant, about to give birth, I seeked a bunch of fathers that I respected and I asked them for advice. And my barber, he gave me something really great. He said, Anthony, remember, there are 3 different types of relationships. There's one with yourself, one with your spouse, and one with your family. You need to nourish and feed all of them.
Emotional deposits. Wow, you heard it here first. Yeah, I'm not even going to talk after that one. He won this one.
Something that I'd maybe like to end with is, what's success? Like, I know you just spoke about, but what's your end game? Like, what is our end game? Like, it's something I think about a lot. And I say, oh my God, is it a number value? Is it the financial freedom? Is it the amount of doors I'm going to have?
Yeah. Can I answer that?
Yeah, of course.
So for me personally, what's the end game? Not dying with the music inside of me. what is the most expensive place on the planet?
Cemetery.
The cemetery. Because how many people have died with so much greatness inside of them? So for me, success, I want to make sure that when I make it at the end, I am bruised, I am battered, I am broken. I want to know that I used every ounce of energy just to make a difference.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
I think about Alan Watts, and when he says,
Yeah, Alan Watts. Yeah, for sure.
and
Yeah.
when he says at the end, I want to basically, I'm paraphrasing, I want to close my eyes, and I want to say, that was fun.
Yeah,
could do that again.
baby. Yeah, for sure. What about you?
Well, for me, it comes down to something that I heard at a Tony Robbins conference, and that's fulfillment, because success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure.
Yeah, man.
So I don't need to be the richest, wealthiest, but if I changed people's lives and made people's lives better, that's enough for me.
It's the highest honor we can have.
Yeah.
Hundreds.
Shawn, man, it was really fun having you on. It's
This is
amazing,
great.
shooting the dirt, like they say, for lack of a better term,
Squishing lemons.
squishing lemons. Yeah,
That's what we're gonna say.
So, man, thanks for joining us again.
Thank you so much,
again,
guys.
Shawn.
It was awesome, man.
Can't wait to do this again sometime.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And guys, for anybody watching, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe. Where are we, Anthony?
We're on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook.
Yes, guys. Until next time, guys, take care.
Ciao, ciao.